Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, the tarot cards are the Art Nouveau Tarot by Matt Myers. I've had this a long time. I'm going to say close to 30 years. I don't think you can find this anymore, but maybe. That's the information. This was before website. Well, I shouldn't say it was before websites. It was definitely before websites were popular. There's the information at the top. So if you're interested, that's the information for that tarot deck. Supportive Oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Reich Baskin. Website on the back is, I believe, watkinspublishing.com. Should be right there at the bottom. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. And I also use dice. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana, substituting 22 for 0. For the Fool, I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I have a 4-sided dice that I use to choose the element for that minor arcana. All these came from the dice shop, which is mathartfun.com. Hopefully you can see that website if you're interested. Hopefully it shows up on camera. mathartfun.com. Okay, with that being said, if you would like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get into your read. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? This is interesting already. In the center, it feels rough, but before and after, it feels fine. Everything feels good. The question is, what do you need to do for you to get the outcome that you want? Okay, so I get the Knight of Cups before, I get the King of Cups after. These are very interesting. So something I feel like is going to get stronger. The situation is going to get stronger. Could be your connection to it. This could be something where maybe it's a job, and it's kind of like you're getting deeper into the mechanics of it, and you're getting a stronger, more educated, like what's actually going on here view. If that makes sense. Kind of like, oh, okay, I've been here for maybe a couple years. I thought I kind of knew what was going on. The situation is happening. Okay, I get a bigger, maybe bitter, but bigger view of what's really happening here, how dynamics really shift and move. So it's like I'm getting stronger with the situation. I'm also getting this card too. You got the Page of Cups. You also have the Knight and King of Cups. Do you have any other court cards like the last one, the Queen? No, you don't get the Queen, but you got a lot of like emotional attachment here. It's something I'd like to like. I'm not sure if you're going to like it because the current energy is kind of stuck. And this is kind of maybe a heads up if this reading is for you or not. It's a situation I feel like there's definitely components here that I very much like. So if we're going to use the job analogy again, and it's just an analogy, it's kind of like maybe I like the work itself. Maybe I like the money. But maybe something about the social atmosphere isn't really my cup of tea. But because of what I want from the situation, I try to be compatible to it as much as possible without selling myself down the river. It's like the block is making me question, like, what is the block about? Ten of Swords and the Devil half in, half out. Ten of Swords is also showing up in the center here. Something here I don't like, but I don't want it to take me down. It's kind of like I feel like I'm worried that if I call something out, I'm going to get the brunt of it, even though I'm just calling out what something is for what it is. Like, something is wrong here, but if I call it out, I know that I'm going to get the brunt of it. and that's not right. So I'm trying to like, I feel like that's really heavy because Aries is very much about the truth and just like, let's just deal with it. Aries is also a very good strategizer. And from my interpretation of Aries, you're not looking to be anybody's target. You're not going to be anybody's scapegoat. I'm trying to understand where else you're supposed to go with this. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I know what's going on here. I see it for what it is. I'm just not going to let just because I see it, I'm not just going to become somebody else's target. That's the block. And I'm feeling the block. There's a block card here, the Two of Swords. It's a block card. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. Because I'm not going to let somebody else target me like this. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not willing to give up what I love from this situation just because I want to do what's right. I'm not going to let people use that against me. And people have done that in the past. I feel like, I don't think this is new, that where people have used the truth against you because you called it out. It's kind of like, this makes no sense. All I'm doing is calling out what's really happening here so we can fix it. But it's being like weaponized against me. And it's kind of like, this isn't right. And I'm not going to go through that with this situation. I don't want that to happen, especially because once I do that, people get an opinion of me, and all of a sudden they create this idea of who I am as if I'm something negative, and I'm not negative. I'm just honest about what it is. I had a job like that once where this one person in management didn't want to be accountable for their shortcomings. So anytime you brought it forward, what was going on, especially if you brought something forward that they did wrong themselves or that they were a part of, they would twist it around and try to make it look like you were being a negative person and that you weren't very helpful to the situation. I have some Aries placements in my chart. It's reminding me of this moment, like, and I had that attitude where I wasn't going to give in. So we just ended up not working with each other after a while. This person kept trying to angle it as if I was the bad guy, and I'm just like, accountability, me asking for accountability, demanding accountability is not making me the bad guy, and you pretending like I'm negative because I'm calling out something that's going wrong is not actually a bad thing. That is not actually negative, that's actually helpful, that's healing. And I feel it for this one. I'm just kind of like, I'm seeing that analogy, and like they're showing me how this is played out, and I'm just like, yeah, I totally understand these cards now. Because given that analogy, like that, there's two. All right, it's flustering me because the memory I don't like, but it's very aggravating, very very aggravating, and it's kind of like, I just wasn't willing to back down. I remember that. And I'm just like, no. But at the same time, I wasn't willing to give up what I had. I wasn't going to leave this job just because this person was a nightmare. And that's how I thought of them, and I still do. So I had to find a way around this. I think what I did was, I don't remember if I even changed departments. I might have. I don't think I changed departments. I changed my position in the department, and I didn't have to work with this person anymore. But people knew my opinion of that person, and people knew that person's opinion of me, and people just kind of steered clear of us both if we were both in the same room. So it was weird. I don't know how this is going to play out for you yet, but we'll keep going. That memory is like, I keep seeing this. If this situation, something like this is playing out for you, I have total compassion for this, because it's like, I remember trying to keep it together. And I wasn't going to let this person, manipulate me like this. And I was like, no, they're screwing things up. They're doing things they're not supposed to. The reason we have issues is because of the way they handle things. And every time I bring it up, they try to twist it like I'm the one being negative. That's not what's going on. I'm calling the bad behavior out, and it's them. They're the problem. And I just wasn't willing to give up on it. And I didn't. Not really. So this is hard. This is a difficult situation. The other side, they're not willing to add up. They're not willing to, like, all they have to do is change how they're doing things. Like, they're not going to be accountable, like, that's obvious. all they have to do is change how they're doing things, and everybody can have things better. As long as it fixes the situation, I feel like, all right, I can step back, because they're not gonna admit to any wrongdoing. They're just not gonna do that. But if we can at least fix it so it works right, everybody can be a lot happier. But they're not willing to even do that. They're holding on. They're acting like they're not doing anything wrong. Maybe they don't have the intelligence to realize what they're doing is wrong. That may be a thing. However that sounds. So where does it go next? Because you got good cards here. But how do we get there? Queen of Fire coming in, and the Sun card. This is weird. Maybe, I guess it's not weird. I mean, it's a reading, but is the same type of situation playing out for Aries, where you're going to kind of advance away from this person. You're going to advance, but I see it advancing. Like, they're showing me my own past, and it's kind of like, yeah, I was at a... So, for example, if you go from 1 to 10 in a hierarchy for corporate life, 1 being entry, 10 being, like, the CEO of the company, I think I went from, like, a 2 to a 3. This was a long time ago I did this, but I think I was at level 2 when this was going on, and I ended up going to a level 3, is what I think happened. It was a long time ago, just to be fair. You seem to be advancing past it. You do. And there's a lot with this. What do we want to talk about first? The person that you were calling out, they keep showing me that same person, and I really don't like them. And I keep thinking, like, didn't like them. They're going to play victim like nobody's business. They're going to make it sound like you were the problem, you made it difficult for them, blah, 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 blah. But I'm also getting, like, people know the real. People know. You're not the only one who has problems or had problems. Most people won't even bother with this person because it just feels like a waste of time to even try to explain to them things or try to fix things with them. So I feel like what they're saying is you're probably going to hear how this person is playing victim, 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 victim. But in this case, you didn't do anything, but they really feel like you did. Other people around it are kind of like, no, Aries was just not going to put up with it. So I feel like people don't want to be in the middle of this, but people are not seeing this like you did anything vicious. They're kind of like you might have gotten frustrated and said some things a little harshly, but you just called things out as they actually were. This other person is trying to like play the poor me card. I don't really feel people buying into that. I feel like people questioning, like, maybe we have to be more careful and watch that person a little closely because maybe they don't have the mental capacity to handle what they're doing. Don't let that hold you back. Because I feel like I don't want people to look at me like I'm an ogre or I'm like this big mean person, because you're not. You will call things out and you will try to make people accountable. That is not a bad thing. People are not looking at you like you're this monster, but I feel like I have this weird energy around me. Like, are people looking at me like I'm this, like, just looking to walk up and smack the crap out of people just because I feel like it? Because that's not the energy. That's not what's going on here. That people aren't viewing you that way, but they also don't want to be involved with it. So they're trying to just kind of walk away from it, but this other person keeps whining about, poor me, did you see what Aries did to me? Did you see how Aries treated me? The challenge is with this is to stabilize with what you need to do and just keep moving forward and just keep yourself distracted with what you need to do. So when I say stabilize, it's like the more that we can resist just even paying attention to that, paying attention to people talking about that, it seems like it's a strong suit of Aries to like, all right, this is annoying, but I got like 5 other things I need to get done, so I'm just kind of hyper-focused and get this done. And if I have to keep switching back and forth between tasks to keep my mind from going somewhere where I don't want it to go, so I have 5 different things I need to do, so I'm doing task number 2, and then all of a sudden I start thinking about that thing I don't want to think about. All right, let me switch to task number 4. And I'm like, all right, what's going on with task number 4? And then if my mind starts drifting, okay, let me do task number 3. And I just keep switching between these 5 tasks so I don't allow my brain to go there. I don't allow my thoughts to go there. I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna. I've been talking about it for a lot lately. Anyway, a lot lately. How to Mend Your Broken Heart. It's something like that. Try that book. Try those exercises. Highly recommend it if you're struggling with that. It could be very helpful. But the thing, keep yourself distracted. Don't buy into that. This person's trying to create this situation where this poor me thing. Don't play into it. Just let that situation drown itself out. It reminds me of like some people, like when I was a kid. I'm not going to use that analogy. I don't know if it's a good one. Just let it drown itself out. You know what I mean? It reminds me just of like somebody. It's like somebody else's kid having a fit in the other room. It's kind of like that's somebody else's problem. That's not for me to deal with, and I'm just gonna go do my own thing, and then somebody else can fix that when they need to, because that's not my child, and I don't feel like I should be dealing with that. Anyway, I feel like it's kind of like that. Like that's somebody else's child. They're having issues. They're behaving badly, but that's not my child, and I shouldn't be taking care of that anyway. So I'm gonna go into a different room away from it, and that the people who are the parents or responsible for that child, they need to deal with that. I don't know what's going on there anyway, but I don't feel like it's my business to find out. I know that sounds harsh sometimes, but it's like when I've already have experiences with this child, it's kind of like even if I get involved, it's just going to get worse, or they're going to be like starting to blame me for anything that might have gone wrong. Not even going in that room, not going even towards that room. The people who are the parents, the people who are responsible, they can deal with that. I have other things to do. I've already been down that road, not going down that road again. Things will stabilize in your favor. The trick is to not buy into this smoke screen that this person is trying to weave, that you're like this ogre, evil, monster. If you can step around that and realize that that's a smoke screen, you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to create something that's not there, and people are not buying into it. People don't want to talk about it though. People are just trying to like, yeah, all right, let them have their minute, but whatever. People are not buying into that. If you realize that people are not buying into that by just kind of ignoring it, if you can do that, it's better for you because things will stabilize for you. I do feel like it aggravates you a little bit, kind of like, that's not right. They're painting me to be a person that I'm not. I don't like that. Other people know. Other people know what's going on there. They're just not willing to talk about it. Other people do know. I get the High Priestess with the Destiny. Like, they see it for what it is. They do see it. They just don't want to acknowledge it, and they don't want to talk about it. This ending card, these are interesting, these three coming together. Because I get more is coming for you. The less you center on that negative energy that you really can't fix anyway, the better things go for you. You got more information coming your way. You got more possibilities coming your way. Something that's going to match you perfectly for what you're actually looking for with the soulmate card. It's a really beautiful connection going on here. I don't know if I like that, but I do get that you want to distance yourself from that negative energy as much as possible. That energy just holds you back. There's nothing to fix there. People don't want to talk about it for whatever reason. So the more you distance yourself from it, the easier things flow for you forward. It's just like, I feel like they're kind of trying to get me to stop talking about it, and that may be some of the advice here. Like, don't talk about it anymore. Just like drown that energy out. I highly recommend that Paul McKenna book. That might make it easier for you. The less attention you give that, the less it matters, the less it exists in your life. And then you can have what you want. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.